Everyone, it's Nicole and I'm here to work on Pirate Arabella by Diamond Art Club. It's a 56 by 74. It is a round shape on my, I am on my my third set, because I replaced the kind of flimsy little plastic thing and I put these in place. And they're 4x6, so I'm on my third 4x6 thing. I don't even know what to call it. Section. And, oh, sorry. And this is new. I got an upgrade. I don't think I had this the last time. I think I was talking about how they were gonna take my cast off. They did take my cast off, but it's not fully healed. So I need a splint for, well, one girl told me 2 weeks. And then I was having issues with the splint. It was a little too tight and it was leaving dents in my skin. Like right here and also like right there, like it was leaving a dent that was kind of painful. So I went back and she fixed that. But when I called to say, you know, this was happening, because they had told me if it's too tight, you know, if you feel any pain or whatever from the splint, you call us. It's a minute. You come in, we fix you, and you go on your way. So I called and I said, well, you know, I don't want to be coming in if I don't have to, but it is leaving a dent on my skin. So how do I tell if it's too much? Or so she said, this was a different girl. My girl was off that day. So she said, well, take the splint off, and if there's still a mark after 10 minutes, then, you know, you failed the test, so you need to come in and change it. But when she was reading the stuff, she's like, oh, I see that you're supposed to be in a splint for 6 weeks. And I was like, what? No, they had said 2 weeks. And she's like, oh, so I don't know what's going on. I don't know if after the 2 weeks, it's going to be like, okay, now, because right now I have to keep the splint on 24/7. The only time I'm allowed to take it off, which is awesome. I do take it off like maybe twice a day for 10 minutes, but I just lay there in bed. And again, it's just to give my skin some breathing room. Because I mean, it was under a cast for 6 weeks and the skin was disgusting when they took the cast off. I came home. Well, first of all, I went for I was there and I went for an x-ray. And after the x-ray, there was a bathroom right there. And I washed my arm with soap. It was so disgusting. Like skin was flaking off. I felt like I was like a lizard. It was so gross. So I did that, and then when I got home, I washed it again, like really well. And I have some good cream. It's some hemp's cream. And I have the triple moisture stuff, and I have been putting that cream on, I'm not exaggerating, 4 or 5 times a day, if sometimes not more. Like my skin was so dry. Like I said, like there was chunk coming off. Like you can tell, like it's like right there, it's still a little dry. I've put cream on this morning, but it's already dry. But at least there's that. At least I can take it off. I can wash my hand and my arm, and I can put cream on. Now I'm allowed to take it off to have a shower, which is awesome. A little nerve-wracking. Because they're like, okay, you can take it off and have a shower, but you got to be really careful. Like you can't fall. It's like, oh, I know. Now, the good thing is our washer, like it's not a tub, so I don't have to walk over the tub to get in the shower. It's just a straight walk-in. Like it's a stand-up shower, so there's at least that. We did put like a mat on the floor of the shower so that it's non-skid, so I don't fall. And then when I go in the shower, I tell my husband, I said, okay, I'm going in the shower, so if you don't hear from me in like, because we have, you know, it's not a huge house, but there's no way he could hear me from our bathroom in our bedroom and him in the living room. Like I could literally be laying there for an hour, you know, if he didn't come and check on me. So I tell him, you know, 15 minutes and then come check to see if you hear anything different. You know, by 15 minutes, I should be out of the shower. Like I'm trying not to push it. I don't want to leave my arm out of the sling for too long. So I do like the quick shower and wash my hair. Oh, but it's so nice to be independent again. Except, you know, I can't drive. Can't drive myself anywhere. So all my appointments, my husband has to take time off of work to drive me. And yeah. So my first physio is on January 6th at like in the morning, which is good. So, but I think I did buy myself, they're like, you know, those squeezy balls, and they have different, like there's 5 of them, and then like the yellow one is super soft, so that when you start your, you know, it's for injuries to the hand and everything and the wrist. So I have started that because I don't need to move my wrist for that. I can already tell that I have lost a lot of strength in my hand. And that's what I was telling my husband. Like, it's scary how fast you lose muscle mass and mobility, like in a 6-week period. Now, you know, she did a test on me, and like moving it this way, I think I could go 18%. This way, I could go 0. So I can't move it that way. This way, because my wrist was this way, is like 50-some%. So that's fine. But this way, 0 degree. 0 degree. I'm like, I'm trying. She's like, it's all good. I know you're trying. So it's gonna be a long road, I think. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some, you know, I don't have any strong painkillers. All I have is Advil and Tylenol. But I'll make sure to take those before I go to my physio so that it helps a little bit with the pain. I know I'm going to have to work through some pain. When they first took the cast off, I can tell you, like I said, my hand was like this and kind of twisted like this, bent and twisted for 6 weeks. And when she took that cast off, my fingers were like this. I couldn't, and I mean, I was stretching them as much as I could in the cast every day, but still. And so I went for the x-ray, almost passed out at the x-ray because she was trying to get me to put my hand flat on the x-ray machine like that, but my hand didn't want to. So I was like, I really, really can't. Like, I'm going to push it as far as I can, but I can't put it all the way down. Like, that's not how my hand was for the last 6 weeks. So anyway, all of a sudden I was like, oh, I started seeing stars. And I'm like, I put my head down. She's like, are you tired? And I'm like, no, I feel like I'm going to pass out. And she's like, oh, I'll get you a wet cloth, a cold cloth. So she went and got me a cold cloth and I put on the back of my neck and that helped. And she's like, okay, we can slow it down. And I was like, okay. So anyway, we did that. Then I went to the bathroom, splashed some water on my face, cleaned my arm because it was disgusting. Then I had to go back to the clinic and I had to see the doctor. Now, when I walked in, I was kind of had my arm up in the air because, I mean, that's how my arm has been for the last 6 weeks. So it's kind of a natural thing to do because of the way my cast was. It was so weirdly shaped for me to have my cast, like my arm beside me, just wasn't comfortable. Like my arm, like it was hard on my rotator cuff because it was kind of pushing out. So anyway, the nurse that brought me to the waiting room, like to wait for the doctor, like inside, not the general waiting room, but the waiting room where you wait for the doctor. She's like, no, don't you baby that arm. Like, I want you the whole time that you wait for the doctor, that you work that arm. You know, like open your fingers, squeeze it back, forward, you know, all this stuff. And I'm like, I said, yeah. I said, I will. I said, but I just almost passed out. So I was kind of taking a break here. She said, well, you got to do it or you're not going to get full motion of your arm. So I ended up waiting for the doctor for, I'd say it was almost an hour. There was cases in front of me that they were fresher. Do you know what I mean? And there was issues and they had to keep looking at the x-ray and then they had to send them for more x-ray. They had to take a sample of somebody's fluid near their ankle. So it's not as if they were doing nothing and I was waiting for nothing. I knew, you know, that. So, but the whole time I am pushing it. I'm moving my arm. There's tears running down my face because it hurts. But I have to say, by the end of the hour, where my hand was like this, I could open it. I couldn't do any movement that way, but I could, you know, at least move my hand like that. Then the doctor comes in and says, you're not fully healed. He says, Nicole, bad news, you're not fully healed. So we're not going to put another cast. Because I think at that point, you know, they're not worried that it's going to move. I mean, if I fell, it probably would move out of spot. But it's not completely healed, so you need to have a splint. So we're going to send you downstairs and you're going to put a splint on. So I'm like, okay. So the next person comes in, tells me all this stuff, blah, 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 you know, all the good stuff. And then says, okay, now you're going to go here. And it's, you know, they're going to make you a splint. And they just came back from lunch. So good timing. Like you'll get there just as they're getting back from lunch and they have time for you now. So it's like, cool. So she's like, okay, now stand up. So she's like, take your arm, put it inside your jacket. You got to make sure that you don't move your arm. Your arm is still not healed. And I'm sitting there going, huh? The other nurse just told me to keep moving my arm and basically don't be a wussy. You gotta push through the pain. And now you're saying, oh, your arm is still not fully healed. So no, don't move it. Put it inside your jacket because we got to make sure that nobody hits it on the way downstairs. And I was like, she's like, is there anybody else here with you that could help you? And I'm like, no, we're not allowed to have someone come in with us. She's like, oh, yeah, that's true. okay. So anyway, I walk downstairs and she's, I meet the girl that's going to do my splint and everything. And so I thought maybe the second girl was just being like, overprotective or whatever. So, because the girl in the occupational therapy, remember, she got me to move my arm slowly, but move just to see the range of motion that I could get or whatever. So I was like, okay, well, she's getting me to move my arms. So I said, so how many times a day can I take it off and do a little bit of, exercise to make sure that I can move my arm and stuff? She's like, oh, no. Your arm is not healed enough. Like, you need to let it heal for another 2 weeks, and we'll reassess in 2 weeks. And then I'll give you some exercise if, so I don't know if I'm going for another x-ray in 2 weeks. I have no idea. The doctor never told me if I had to see him again. I have no idea. I remember when I was 25, that just reminded me, threw me back 20 some years, 27 years ago, if not more. When I was 25, I had cancer. I had Hodgkin's disease. And, doctors and nurses, we could not do without them. I'm not saying that to diss them in any way. But I think after a while, they become accustomed to what they're doing, right? And they don't think that this is the first time that they're going through this. So they don't know what's going on. They don't know, like, they're afraid, like we just found out we had cancer or, whatever the case may be. And the communication wasn't that great. So anyway, I was freshly diagnosed. And of course, when you're freshly diagnosed, you go to a ton of tests. And my first test that I got was, the nurse comes in and says, here, put some Ativan under your tongue. And I was like, 2 of them. And I'm like, why? Because I know what Ativans are. I'm like, why? I'm not feeling, anxious or anything. And she's like, yeah, we want you really relaxed because you're going for a bone marrow biopsy in about 15 minutes. And I was like, okay. Because I knew what that was. And so I went for the bone marrow biopsy, and the poor nurse, she said, of course, hold on to my hand, and when it hurts, you squeeze. Well, I think I mentioned that before, but I'm not a crier. I'm not, a yeller or anything like that. But if, you give me your hand to squeeze without even realizing, poor nurse, I probably pretty near broke her hand. So that was one of my first tests I did. So anyway, I was there for 2 weeks, and they admitted me so that it would be easier to do all the tests instead of, getting me to come in every 2-3 times a day and getting tests done. I was right there. So as soon as there was an opening, they would bring me. So after that, I was just going, I think it was MRI. And, again, they just plopped me on the table, no explanation. Then she comes to the head of the bed, or this little bed under the MRI there. And I just have tears flowing down my face. And she's like, oh my goodness, dear, what's wrong? And I said, Nobody tells me what they're doing. I have no idea what's going on, because this was probably like test, I don't know, test number 10. And except for, you know, lift your arm, don't move your arm. Okay, hold your breath. Okay, I'm going to stick a needle in your toe. It's going to hurt for a minute. You know, why are you sticking a needle in my toe or in between my toes, you know? They were injecting blue dye so that they could check. But anyway, so she was like, oh my goodness. She says, we are so used to doing our job. We don't think that, you know, for you guys, it's a first time experience. I am so sorry. And I said, that's okay. I know I'm a little bit emotional, you know, like I just found out 4 days ago that I have cancer. So, and life is going to be, you know, the way the doctor explained it to me, he says it's going to be like you're in HE double hockey stick for the next year. So I was like, okay, great. So anyway, the nurse told, not the nurse, the tech totally apologized and then, you know, explained exactly what they were, you know, what tests they were doing and all this stuff. But just to say, I think we just get, you know, with everything else, like anything else, you get a little complacent. When I started my job as a 911 dispatcher, I said the day that, not that I don't care, but I don't see the person on the other end of the line as a person and not just somebody else that's calling 911, you know, like this is their first experience calling 911. And when I was a trainer for many years, and that's what I would tell my new people. I'd say, you know, I know for us, it's probably, you know, the 70th call that we've picked up today, but for them, this is the, you know, maybe their first time that they've ever called 911. It's the worst day of their life. We need to have compassion. And I know that sometimes it's a little frustrating. Not everybody that calls 911 should call 911 is all I'm going to say. You know, so sometimes it can be, but to them, it was warranted. But and then, so I took that off. Oh, exactly a week ago. It's been a week. And my range of motion with the other cast was very limited. So I can tell you, I probably felt more pain in the last week than I did. I mean, the first week when I first broke it, I can tell you, oof, it was super painful. But then the pain kind of subsided. I mean, I would feel some pain sometimes, but because my range of motion is so much more, like you can tell, like it's just like a strap. It's basically, it's just the, you know, keeping my wrist stable. But my range of motion is way more, and my arm wasn't used to doing that. So as soon as my arm would try to turn away that it wasn't supposed to, I would feel like shooting pain, like right down my arm, and be like, ah, what the heck, man? But it's been a week, and I have to say that that's a whole lot better. So that's good. I can move my arm without feeling like, you know, I want to run into the cupboard and take some painkillers every time. So my rule is during the day, unless it's super, super bad, and I think there's only been like maybe once, maybe twice in the last 7 weeks that I took painkillers during the day. I will take a painkiller at night if my arm is super hurting. Like I think the last maybe 2-3 nights, I haven't taken anything. I think Sunday night was the last time, and that's because we left at 7 o'clock in the morning. Mason had a couple games of hockey in another city, so we drove to that city, and we left at 7:40 in the morning, and we got back at 4:30 in the afternoon. So, needless to say, the arm was tired. The arm was in pain. So I took some painkillers that night, and but that was the last time, which is good. One thing I did, you can put like it's almost like a sock, I call it, for your arm, which makes it so that the splint is not as, I don't know, the splint is full of little holes, but the thickness of that little sock thing makes it so that my arm swells up. And I'm like, no, okay, I'll just deal with and she said that I had the option to wear it or not wear it. So I decided not to wear it. Yesterday we went to the rink again, and I thought, well, I'll put it in there because it's so cold. And halfway to town, like I could feel like my splint was so tight, and I'm like, no, I'm taking it off, and I'll just put like a sweater over top. And it was fine. The arena it was in yesterday is not like a super cold arena, so it was good. It was all good. So that worked out. So they played, like I said, Mason is on a AAA team. He's 7 years old. I gotta do a page. The kid is 7 years old. He's over 4 feet tall, like over 4 feet tall. He's not just 4 feet, like he's over 4 feet tall. He weighs 93 pounds. He's gonna be a big kid. Like I can see him being over 6 feet because the kid is growing. We had to buy him all new equipment. We gave him one of his Christmas gifts already because he was saying that his skates were kind of tight around the foot this way. So we went and got him new skates. He was in a size 2, and he's in a size 3.5 now. It's like, what? A size and a half bigger. And my daughter works at she's the manager for a shoe store here in our city. And so he gets his shoes there. And she's like, Mom, did you know he's in a men's 7? I was like, no. She's like, he's not even in kids anymore. He shops, he's a men's 7 in sneakers. It's like, oh my goodness. So I gotta do a page about that. I mean, that's because, you know, later on will be, was it when he was 7 or was it when he was 8? Like, no, he's 7 and all this is happening. So anyway, the AAA team, they were playing 2 teams. They were playing 2 games, but the same team. Because of, you know, everything that's going on, we're still allowed to play sports, but we don't have a lot of cases. So they're allowed to play sports, but it's got to be the same team in that day or whatever. And so we played the same team twice, which is fine. They had about an hour and a half between the two games. And the first game, they won 9-3. the second game, they won 11-2. I don't know what kind of Wheaties they ate that morning, but my Atlanta, they were unstoppable. And it's kind of funny because Mason has always been a forward. And now they've put him defense because he's such a big kid. He can, like, he's a good defense. And he's defensive minded anyway. Like he was a forward, but you know, he'd go at the take a shot, and then when their team would start, half the time he'd beat the defense back to go defend his net. You know, he'd be right in front of their net, kind of like clearing the puck, and they're like, okay, well, he's thinking defensively. So the first game, like, he was kind of afraid to kind of get out of his role kind of thing. And then we're like, buddy, like, you can take the puck and you can rush it and you can go take a shot on net and then go fall back, and that's what his coach wants him to do, right? So he's like, okay. So he was, the second game, he was a little bit more aggressive. He had a few shots on net, and he got his first goal in, you know, with his AAA team. And of all the goals that, you know, were done, most of them are from forward because they're the ones that have the most chances to shoot on net. But they have 6 defense, and 2 of the defense each got a goal. So that was cool. So that was fun. It was a good Sunday. And then on Saturday, he had a game too, just with because at his age right now, he has to be in regular hockey. And then he has to be, you know, he doesn't have to be. Then, you know, he got chosen to be on the AAA team. As he gets older, it'll be one or the other. Like, he won't be doing both. So right now it's a lot of hockey. And plus then he has hockey school. So it's like Tuesdays, like last night, it's hockey school. And then like on the weekends, it can be like 5 or 6 games a week. It's a good thing he loves hockey, isn't it? Last night they played a little game too, so he was pretty happy. That was because usually the CCM school, it's all about like developing their skills. So they're working more on, you know, skating backwards faster, doing crossovers, passing, all that good stuff to make them better skaters and all that stuff. So and the poor kid, he loves his new skates. And at the beginning of the year, we had to buy him all like new shin pads, new chest protector, new pants, you know, all the new stuff. And then his mom bought him new gloves and a new stick, something else. Anyway, hockey is not a cheap sport. And he was asked to try out for Team New Brunswick. Now they've kind of halted the tryouts because they said, oh, we'll just wait in the spring because of everything that's going on. And they said they'll just wait. And so I don't know, we're kind of like, do we want him to make Team New Brunswick? Because he's already made like the Vipers, which is a AAA team, and they're playing right now, but right now it's not really, the season hasn't begun. They're, you know, they do games and all that stuff, but it's more like practice. Like they practice Not very much, like maybe once a month, and then they're gonna try and have like a couple of games a month. Okay, so let's do, I didn't even get the, usually I take out all the little ones that I wanna do for today, or for that session. I didn't do that today. I was just like, oh, I should, work on my video for today for YouTube. And then I'm like, okay, I don't have another one for diamond painting. So for tomorrow. So I better get my butt in gear and get that done. I only have so many good hours in a day that I can get things done, so. So this is color what? 3024. That's the DMC color. It's like a tan color, I guess. So I am one book away from reaching my goal for this year. And today's December 23rd. So I have like a week. I know I'm gonna do it. There's just so many other things to get done this time of year, and hockey and everything, but I'm gonna get it done. I've already started my next book. I finished the second book since I've done this. I finished the second book in the Dash and Lily, oops, my hand is shaky, series, trilogy, the 12 Days of Christmas, the 12 Days of Dash and Lily, I guess it's called. And a lot of people didn't like that one as much as the first one. Now, I liked it more than the first one. I firmly believe it's the mood that you're in. And when I read the first book, I wasn't in I don't want to say I wasn't in a good mood, but I wasn't in a reading mood. So I think that makes the difference, the whole difference in the world. And this time I was in the reading mood. I was kind of involved with the characters, because at that point I knew Dash, I knew Lily, and the parents and the brother and the grandfather. So I was, and the aunt, and the friend. So I was way more involved in the story. I read it way faster. And I gave it 4 stars, while the other one I gave it 3.5. So I actually enjoyed it. Now there's a third book. And I think I was Christmased out, though. I didn't read that many Christmas books, maybe 4. But I've been watching quite a few Christmas movies on Netflix. So I kind of was Christmased out. So then I was like, oh, there's a book about hockey, and it's Michigan versus the boys, and Michigan is a girl. And it's a young adult, contemporary, and her hockey, school hockey team, the girls' hockey team, gets canceled. Like they don't have enough budget, so they cut the girls' hockey team. And she really loves hockey, so she wants to play. So she tries out for the boys' team and makes the team. And it's the hardship that she goes through with that. Oh, I was so many times during that book, I was so frustrated for her, So frustrated. It wasn't fair. But it was good. I gave it 5 stars. Like, I really enjoyed it. But I love sports book, like sports stories, I guess. So I love it when they talk about sports, and it's, even if it's a contemporary. I think one of my favorite shows of all time was Friday Night Lights. Oh, man, I love that. Oh, I could watch that again. That is one show that I could sit there and I could watch it from beginning to end. Now, it'll probably be a while before I do, just because there is so many shows that I want to watch. And I don't watch very many right now because whenever I do have a minute, I should have been watching some while my arm was broken. That would have been a good time. But when I have a minute, I read, because my goal is always to read 100 books a year. And in order to do that, like, you have to read, you know, some weeks 2 books a week. You know, you have to read, what is it, 8 books a month? 8 books a month makes it 96, right? So some months, 4 months, you have to read 9. So that is, yeah. So most months you have to read 8 books a week, or 8 books a month. So that's 2 books a week. And then, what is going on? For those months, you got to read 9, which is a lot. But I don't mind. I have so many books. I think if I told my husband right now, I'm overreading, I think he would be a little mad. Because I have so many books right now in my house. Yeah, I've kind of slowed down on the buying of the books. Kind of slowed down on the buying of kind of everything. There was another diamond painting that came out and I was like, oh my gosh, I love it. Nope, not buying it. Not buying it. One thing I did buy, I watched Jordan Page here on YouTube. She's a mother of like 8. And she talks about stuff like budget and mom stuff and all that stuff. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, she did a video last week, and or a couple weeks ago, and it was about they're moving. They bought a new house, and she was talking about what she had packed in her suitcase, because they had to live basically out of a suitcase for 2 weeks. And she was showing the makeup that she uses, and then she gave like a 20% off. Not makeup, skincare. I don't care about makeup. I haven't worn makeup in years, but skincare. And I can tell you that this year, for some reason, I'm getting tons of like really dry patches on my face. So I'm like, okay, I gotta start doing skincare. So I used her 20% off. And it's called a Dime skincare, and I got the works. So it's all the skincare. We'll try that. It wasn't cheap, but I figure it'll probably last me. You know, you don't need a lot, so it'll probably last me I'd say close to a year. I'm gonna actually put the date on it when I do it, like when I get it, and then I'll see how long it lasts me. And if it lasts me almost a year and it's awesome for my skin, I'm going to treat myself once a year to some skincare. This is DMC, what is it? 648. And again, it's, I'm going to do the letter F. I don't know why I picked F, because it's not even the next one there, but it's okay. I'll just do this. So yes, ooh, somebody's pushing on the gas and trying to spin their tires right outside my house. So I'll spend. And what I like was that with the 20% off, because of course they're in the States, all free shipping over $39. But to Canada, it's not free shipping. But at least with the 20%, and the thing was already on sale. So I think I get 6 products, and they were all, a lot of them were 120 mil. So, 4 ounce. Well, some of them were 4 ounces. Some of them are 2 ounces. So it's not like sample size. It's, fairly good size. And it was $172 for $138. And then I got another 20%. But then the shipping was like 28 or 30. And so then you add the conversion, because I'm in Canada. And so it was $200. But if you want good stuff, it's $30-40 a bottle. So, and it's all natural stuff, and it's cruel free. Maybe I'll do a little haul when I get it in, just so I can show you. Do the haul and then do, a month later, what I think of it. Because you got to use it at least a month before you can say, yes, I like it or I don't like it. Or, it does awesome for my face or it doesn't. So, because I've been getting, I haven't been doing them because with my broken arm, that's probably why my skin is protesting, because I haven't been doing my normal skin routine. But I love masks and stuff, so I do mask. And maybe I'll do one tonight. It's been a while. I think my skin will be thanking me because it's been a while. I should finish this before I move on to something else, because then I'll be like, oh, I missed one. Well, yeah. You didn't finish a section before you left. Okay, that's all done. Now we'll move on to the next section. So I got that. So that's my Merry Christmas to me. To me. So, got that. Oh, yesterday, which right after this, I'm going to go again. I can't do much right now because of my arm. But I mean, it's a bike, so it's cycling. The only thing is I find it hard, like, to put down my arm, my right arm. But I'm doing the beginner stuff, so it's only like 10 minutes. And even if I do the beginner stuff for a couple months while I'm recovering, I'm okay with that. Just slowly build up my stamina again. Okay, so I just had to stop the recording there. So I just put that one away because I was done. So yeah, I usually do our reservations like very early so we can get the sites that we like, the weekend that we want. So I think, we're going to be there all summer, but I think we're still going to try and do a few that will just kind of go camping to somewhere else. I know June is going to be one, probably one in June, one in July, and one in August. So one weekend out of each month will go somewhere other than our campsite there, because we're going to be there from the long weekend of May until October. So I think we're okay to miss a few weekends. So the next one is DMC 3371, which is a dark brown. There's not a lot. It's the L here on this. Oh, one more. Nope, two more. One here. And, oh. One here. I can tell you, as soon as I move this down to here, I'm cutting this plastic because it's driving me nuts. Okay, so is that it for that? Yes. I can do a couple more. I see the C here, or actually let's do this. There's like one. It's number 7. So I'm not even gonna take, oh, there's a few. I can do those, so C is DMC. Oh no, that's not what I'm doing. Oh, it's a good thing I checked again. This is what I'm doing right here. That was DMC 318. Oh, am I ever glad I always double check. Cause see, I did a boo-boo and I thought, oh, while I'm doing that one there, I'll check ahead and see what the next color is, like what number. And the number is 39, but it's DMC 3860, which is a brown, which that would have sucked if I would have done all of these wrong. Oh, but I caught it. That's a habit that I've gotten into, is kind of double check every time. Just because, you know, I'm kind of chatting and doing this, so I want to make sure that I do it right. Okay, oh, just a little bit of C's down here. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to do more after this. We'll see. I was thinking of doing all the ones that just have a little bit. Like after this would be the T. There's only like 2 or 3 T's. And then that'll be it. But when I looked at the C's, I didn't think there was as many as there is. Because there's some down here too that I didn't see. But that's okay. I haven't done any, and I think it's at least a week. Because like I said, I was fairly surprised that the amount of pain that I felt after taking the cast off and just having that splint, because there's just so much more motion. So I was, you know, kind of took it easy. I'm like, okay. I would do a little bit of stuff and then I would relax. But I ended up reading a lot of books. Yay. Reading a lot of books. Like, I think I was, for a while there, I was like, eeh. Because I think I had 8 books that I had to read this month. So, now I'm down to 1. I wish I could find more books like the Michigan versus the Boys. I'll have to look. Although right now, like I said, I'm reading Layla by Colleen Hoover, which I love her books. I just read Heartbones from her, really enjoyed it. That was just a couple weeks ago. That was a newer book too. And Layla, I think, just came out on December something, December 9th, December 6th, something like that. But I have Kindle Unlimited, so I've been reading quite a few books from there. just because holding a book right now doesn't feel very good at all. So I'm reading on my iPad, on my Kindle app. And then I'll read my physical books once my wrist is better. Oh, come on. Oh, I hate that when it's right at the end. Like right at the end, I have just a few little things. And the wax is done. It's like, no, I'm done. And it's worth it to take the second to refill it because I'm going 3 or 4 times to try to refill it. This at this point is where I wish that I could do the 3. I think right now, I know you don't have to push hard, but it's harder than what I can. No. I gotta move them all. It ain't worth it. It's okay, I'm almost done. I don't even think I'm gonna do the T's. I'll keep that for next time. My arm is done. I think I went quite a bit though, so that's good. That's done. Again, watching cheesy movies on Netflix. Loving it. It's funny because most years I'm like, no, that's way too bloody cheesy. But this year, I'm enjoying cheesy. Oh, another thing that I am totally hooked on is TikTok. Oh my gosh. And what I love, they're like 1-minute videos and boom, you laugh. My favorite ones are the laughter ones. The ones where they make me laugh. I'm loving those. I think it's much needed right now, right? Laughter. So okay. Okay. That is it. So next time I think we're going to concentrate on here and get this done. Get this done. And then the time after that will be this. And that'll be it for that. It should only take me, what, 2021 to get this one done? That's another reason I'm like, I'm not buying anymore. I gotta do the ones that I have. I have a ton and I gotta get them done. All right, so that's it. I'm gonna sign off for today and we will chat to you soon. Oh, and by the way, if you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I'll probably have one for the new year. So also, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit subscribe. If you're enjoying these videos, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. And I want to thank you so much for watching. Bye.